Today, the Denver Broncos joined several other NFL clubs and other leagues around the country by canceling practice in protest of the most recent reports of social injustice. The Broncos released a statement which reads in part, "The players are standing together as a team. More importantly, they are standing up for those who need them most. We applaud the strength, unity, and leadership of the players. The Denver Broncos will fully and unconditionally support them. Today is about reflection and identifying ways to affect meaningful change. The strongest statement we can make is by taking action. It will take all of us." The team is expected to resume practice tomorrow at 9:15 a.m. Welcome into UC Health Training Center, everybody. This is Training Camp Tonight, powered by Ford. I'm Matt Boyer. Benjamin Albright, Ryan Edwards, and the Hall of Famer Steve Atwater will be along momentarily. A lot to get to today with today's event, so let's head down to 27 Hall of Fame Plaza, where Steve Atwater is standing by.
Thank you, Matt. As you can see, we have an empty field behind us today, but we don't have an empty chair. We have my special guest, Mr. Tyler Polumbus, former Bronco, former Redskin, former Seahawk, former Atlanta Falcon.
All right, stop. I played on a lot of teams.
Okay, all right, it's all good. Welcome, Tyler.
Steve, it's great to be here, man. We don't have football, but it's good to be here with you and, unprecedented times we're living in right now.
Yes, unprecedented times. We have the social injustice going on out there. A lot of teams really trying to get together and have one voice in terms of trying to fight this. What are your thoughts on it, and what are your thoughts on when you think we'll get back to sports?
Well, when NBA postponed games yesterday, and then they met as the entire union, the NBA PA, every player met last night, I knew there was going to be a trickle-down effect into other sports. And you could see the athletes across the NFL, across the NHL, talking about the NBA and the way that they respected the decisions that they were making. So when I woke up this morning, I almost expected to hear that practice was going to be canceled. We got here, we hung out for a couple hours as the team met for 2 hours. I think they were in a team meeting for about 2 hours. And, we were just sitting here waiting to find out what was going to happen. I didn't expect to see them out there today, so not surprised at all.
Yeah, same here. I wasn't totally surprised, although there are some teams that did decide to practice today. And, we know that all teams need to be practicing because of competition is going to be high. Got the coronavirus, all those different things. But I must say that I'm very proud of these guys for really using their platform to stand up for what they feel is right, and they're doing it all together.
Well, Justin Simmons has been a tremendous voice for the team, for social issues, and you follow guys like that, and I'm not surprised to see the Broncos are one of the 10 teams that did not practice today. I think that one thing that everybody just needs to keep in mind with all of this is, we've had 10 teams choose not to practice today. Well, I think that this is much like every other issue that has popped up. Guys are going to make their own decisions, and teams are going to make their own decisions, and doesn't mean that everybody has to make the same decision. But the Broncos have chosen not to practice today and protest, and here we are.
Let's transition over to football right now. You've watched this team here. You've seen this team for years. You grew up here in Colorado, a Broncos fan. Were you a Broncos fan growing up?
Oh, yeah, of course, man.
I was about to say you had to be.
I grew up about 10 minutes from this facility.
Yes, Cherry Creek High School, CU, the whole 9 yards. What do you see in this team this year, and are you optimistic, pessimistic? What are your thoughts?
You know what? I am optimistic. I'm also a little bit realistic in that this is a very young football team. You've got an offense that, man, you're trying to install a brand new offense with no offseason, no OTAs. Pat Shurmur had never met his guys until a couple weeks ago. He'd met them on a computer screen, but never in person. I can only imagine the challenges that go into that of installing a new offense under circumstances like that. All that being said, offense has had their days. Defense has had their days, and that's kind of what you want. You don't want to see one side dominate the other side every single day, because if you do, well, you've clearly got a deficiency on your football team. I think that you're going to see Drew Lock go out there and look great some days, and then he's going to throw 3 interceptions because he still is a young quarterback.
I don't think he has a day where he's thrown 3.
Okay, 2?
He's thrown 2.
Maybe 2. Yeah. I mean, the reality is he's probably going to act like a young player at some point and make young mistakes. So I think this team is not quite on the cusp of arriving, but they're going to be a very competitive team.
Now, it'd be interesting to hear from you, a Super Bowl champion, former tackle, offensive tackle. What do you think about the tackles on the team, and who do you think has the lead position to win that right tackle position?
Well, we got to get better play out of those 2 guys. There's no doubt about it. Garrett's had his issues, and I think that you look at the optimistic side of it is that over the season, the last 5 games, he was playing better football, but mentally he can't make the same mistakes that he's made over the course of his career. Elijah Wilkinson is a guy that I really respect. Man, I think he's, number 1, a tremendous human being, but number 2, a very valuable resource on the offensive line. The problem that Elijah has, and I had this same issue for the first couple of years that I was in the NFL, when you become that utility guy, you become the jack of all trades and the master of none, right? And so it's really, really hard to lock in when you don't get the chance to take year after year thousands and thousands of reps at right tackle. Boy, that's hard on an offensive lineman, and I can really just relate to how challenging that is for him. Elijah needs to play better football than he played last year, and so.
Well, let me ask this question. All right, you were in that situation. You retired from football. As you look back on your career, what advice would you give Elijah, knowing that he's that utility type person, to handle that situation better?
Well, I think he's fortunate that he was able to start training camp knowing that Juwan James wasn't here, right? Had Juwan James opted out a few days into training camp or a week into training camp, that would have been a challenging situation for him. I would just tell him, man, take advantage of every rep you can, because you're going to need thousands and thousands of reps to train your body to mentally keep your weight on the inside leg. And when you move from right tackle to left tackle, that's harder than it sounds. Right. So I think he's in a spot where he's got an opportunity. I do like DeMar Dotson, though. Yeah. I went back and I watched the film with DeMar in Tampa Bay, and you know what? He's old. He's a little bit stiff, but he gets the job done, and that's what this league is all about.
Just DeMar's taller than you, and you're tall.
You're right. And Steve, a little fun fact, I've only got one record I'll ever have be a part of with the Denver Broncos.
Yes.
I was one of 4 guys tied to being the tallest Denver Bronco in history until DeMar Dotson came around.
What, 6'8", right?
I'm 6'8", yeah. He's
6'9". Got you. Daggone it. Well, Tyler, now the teams don't have referees out here. What can the coaches do, and what can the players do to make sure that once the season starts, which is going to be coming up, first game Monday night on the 14th, what can players do to make sure that there aren't a ton of penalties when we step on the field?
It's all about accountability, and it starts with yourself. You shouldn't need anybody to tell you that it was a penalty. As a player, did you ever need a referee to really throw that flag, or did you just know?
Not really. But guys start competing, and if you can hold just to not let the quarterback get sacked.
Well, listen, I held on every play I ever competed on. I mean, I'm an offensive lineman, but there's an art to holding. There's a way to hold, and there's a time that you have to let go of the guy, right?
Yes.
So you just got to have that internal clock, and you got to know that you got to hold within the confines of the chest. You can't get on the outside. So it starts with just self-accountability, and then it goes to the coaches. You get in the meeting rooms, and they got to call them out, and there's got to be consequences when guys are not being reliable out there.
Yeah. Well, offensive guys have more penalties than defensive guys, but we save that for another day. Tyler, hey, we really appreciate you coming out, spending some time with us. What else are you up to? Where can people find you?
Well, you can find me from 3 to 7 p.m. on 104.3 The Fan. That's the bread and butter, and having a lot of fun with that. We're talking Broncos every single day, and it's great to be out here today. Hopefully we can get out here again.